Alright, so as you guys know, I've been knee-deep in painting up this new High Elf army for the Warhammer The Old World Escalation League. And I finally made it to 1,000 points, and so I went out looking for my first Escalation League game. Now, unfortunately, I didn't clarify that when I posted in the Discord, and another gentleman reached out and said, hey, I'm willing to teach you how to play the game. We can play low points. That'll work out fine. You may have to go to the different store than what I normally go, but I'm okay with that. So I agreed to game with him. Then I realized he wasn't in the Escalation League. But you know what? I went ahead and wanted to play that game anyway because he was willing to teach an absolute newbie how to play Warhammer The Old World. And so I mustered up my 1,000 points and headed out to the other shop where I met the good gentleman named Qua. So Qua was super cool. He had put together 1,000 points and I put together 1,000 points, and we proceeded to play a game. Now what I'm not going to do is not go over like the deep intense strategy, because frankly this was a teaching game. I know Qua mentioned that he didn't take his sort of I'm going to compete against you list. He actually took a really nice list that showed me a lot of different types of units so that I would actually learn the most from this very short game. And I super appreciate that. Meanwhile, I had the 1,000 points that I had painted. So that's what I had. Turned out it's a pretty solid 1,000 points in my opinion. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the lists. So yes, looking at my list, I have a Prince Galadar the Gleaming in his resplendent armor of Calidor. He's got a lance, a shield, and the full plate from the armor of Calidor with a 5-up ward. He's also on a barded elven steed, and he's taken the Berserker Blade, which is going to give him +1 attack, and he also has the Elven Honors Pure of Heart. For his mage, I have taken Belithian, Seer of Ones. He's a level 2 mage on foot. He's got a lore familiar, and we're rocking battle magic, and he also has a power scroll. He also has the Sea Guard upgrade as well. So Belithian, Uncle Baby Billy, Seer of Ones joins Galadar the Gleaming for my characters. In core, I have 3 units. I've got a 5-man unit of Illyrian Reavers. This unit is skirmishers with short bows, and they have a Harbinger with the Ring of Fury. So they're actually going to try to hit some stuff while being skirmishers. I also have this big unit of Silver Helms, so it's 7 Silver Helms with full command. I didn't stick anything on the High Helm, which is probably a mistake, but hey, we're going with it. And then finally, I took a 5-man unit of Reavers that really just has short bow and scouts. So I want to see how I like the scouts rule. I don't know that I needed bows on both units, but hey, that's how I went. And finally, over in Rare, I have a big unit of Sisters of Avalorn with the High Sister, and she's got a Bow of the Seafarer. So I've got basically a mobile gun platform with essentially a walking bolt thrower that Uncle Baby Billy the Mage is going to join. So that is my 1,000 points of High Elves. Alright, so for my opponent's Empire list, he's got a General of the Empire with a great weapon, full plate armor. He's got a ward save, and he's got the white cloak for magic resistance. He also has a Captain of the Empire who is the battle standard bearer, also with a great weapon and full plate. And finally, he's taking a Master Mage, Wizard level 1, who's also taking battle magic for the fireballs. And he's also got a Wizard Staff to give him a bonus to it, and a Lore Familiar. So good fireball potential coming out of that guy. So moving on to core, we've got 5 Empire Knights with a Witch Hunter's Ward on their hero, also rocking the standard bearer with that unit, and they are drilled. He's also taken a big block of 20 state troopers with halberds with full command as well. Under special, he's got this big unit of 13 greatswords with full command. He also has a unit of wardens with feigned flight, so this is a light cavalry unit. So 4 road wardens, and then he also has a captain with a brace of pistols. And finally, he's taken a great cannon. So nice mix of troops, infantry, and artillery there for the Empire list. So again, I want to reiterate one more time, this was a learning game. So before we get into these lists and say, oh, well, they should have taken this and this would have been the better strategic move, remember the goal of my opponent is to get me to learn and understand the concepts of the game. He was advising me on the best, or what he felt were the best tactical moves while we were on the board, and really in general advising me all the way through. So I really appreciate my opponent for walking me through all of that, and we just had such a great game. And I think this is how it's done. I think this is how you run a demo game with somebody and you teach them really how to play. So really appreciative of that. All right, so this is how deployment went. My opponent set up his cannon and greatswords on that hill there. Then he had the halberders or the state troopers off to the left side of the screen. And then he had his road wardens next to on the other side of the hill, and they haven't taken their vanguard move yet. And then he has his knights set up in the corner there. They're going to come in like at an arc there. Meanwhile, I had my skirmishers, reavers off to the right side there, and I had the big silver helms in the middle with the hero. The Sisters of Avalorn are off to the left there with the mage kind of out of screen, and then you can see my scout move. I stuck the other reavers basically in his deployment zone off to the side of those state troopers. My opponent won the roll to go first because of his +1, and so you can see the vanguard move and then the regular move there by the wardens to get within range of the Illyrian reavers. He moved his greatswords off the hill, marching straight ahead, and you can see a march there from the knights as well. The state troopers turned 90 degrees to face that Illyrian reavers there, and so we go into shooting. All right, so in shooting, the wardens managed to take out one of the reavers with their pistol shots, and then the mage up top went to shoot a fireball at those Illyrian reavers, and I faded boxcars to make that not happen. That was really rough there. And then the cannon basically did not fail to hit anybody on the silver helm side. So that was basically turn 1. All right, so during my turn 1, I have a choice to make here with the reavers, and I should have charged, but I was advised against it. And I think the reason why I was advised against it is I think my opponent didn't realize that I had a Ring of Fury in that unit, and I probably could have hit those wardens. The plan was to hit the wardens really hard and try to push and at least stall the knight charge there. But I stood to shoot there. The other reavers on the far side of the board just kind of swung around to hurl some shots at the state troopers. And then with the sisters, I moved them towards the woods, and then I did the arcane urgency to kind of swivel them into the woods and start unloading on the other side of the board there. So the sisters did like sister things. They got into the side of that greatsword unit, managed to kill, I think, 4 of those greatswords between the Bow of Avalorn and a couple of other shots there. Really powerful. On the other side, the reavers that didn't charge the wardens stood and they killed 1. But again, that was my mistake. I should have just charged them in. The silver helms just kind of moved up a little bit, and the other reavers fired at the state troopers and did no things. I also tried a magic. I tried a fireball into the greatswords with my mage, and I even power scrolled it. And then failed to roll the 9 I needed to land that spell. But the thing I forgot was that I had Lilith's Blessing, and I could have re-rolled that. And question for the comment section, do I get to use the power scroll bonus re-roll? Yeah, let me know in the comments. So turn 2 was a great shooting turn for the Empire. The Wardens got into close range and wiped out that Illyrian River unit, and then on the other side of the board, the wizard over there cast Fireball on the other Illyrian unit, leaving them down to just a single model. And then finally, the cannon managed to kill 1 silver helm. So strong turn 2 shooting from the Empire. Okay, so in my turn 2, I went ahead and charged the Silver Helm unit into the Greatswords now that they've been softened up, and then basically kind of wheeled my single Illyrian Reaver there around to take a glory shot at the at the Wizard up top, and then the Sisters of Avalorn kind of just trudged up a little bit to do more Sisters of Avalorn things. In the shooting phase, I didn't do anything to that mage. But the wizard did get off a massive double 6 on the fireball cast. Managed to roll 11 hits, and then true to form, I only wounded twice with that fireball. So seers of 1s and 2s indeed. In the combat phase, though, there was a challenge issued by his general. I picked it up with my basically unarmed hero to take that hit. He goes down, and then the rest of my unit actually does quite a bit of work into those greatswords, really doing some damage to that unit and eventually running them down. They break and flee, and we managed to run them down on the chase down. So it was an unfortunate couple of rolls there for my opponent, failing his panic test twice, run him down, and then square up for his charge with his knights on the following turn. And again, that kind of works in my favor. I think I barely win that combat, but he just sort of pushes off a little bit, and then I'm ready at that point to reform and charge the cannon. So after running down the cannon, that Silver Helm unit gets reduced to just the prince, who has taken a wound, and he's now by himself. He tries to charge the rest of that knight unit, who then flee, and then the general, the prince, then reforms, and then he tries to go into the state troopers. So at that point, then the fleeing knights, they ended up, unfortunately, right within shooting distance of that sisters unit, who do sisters things and wipe them out. I forgot to mention they had wiped out the wardens a turn before, so sisters really just cleaning up here. And then the prince decides to charge into those state troopers. He does manage to kill like 8 of those state troopers, and then finally goes down though against that big mob. So the end of the game is really just the sister unit bombarding the last of the state troopers there. We get them below half strength. I think they have a handful of models left, and the wizard on their side. So we tallied up, and it ends up being a victory for the High Elves. I think I win by like just a little over 100 points. But man, what a fun game. Really enjoyed my time with Qua. Thank you so much for teaching me the game. You showed me your cool steam tank for later, for when we go big points, and I get to see what that thing can do against my painted dragon. So super excited for that. So yeah, that was my first game in the books, and I gotta say, I had an absolute blast. Qua was just such a great teacher. He was really good at sharing all the different information about different phases, and I'm pretty sure it felt like we did everything right. I think we did everything right. But anyways, I'm just super grateful for that. I had such a fun time playing my first game of Warhammer the Old World. I'm going to get back to the painting table. I've got some dragon knights to paint. I've got a dragon to paint. And yeah, a couple of shout outs here at the end. Brookhurst Hobbies is having it sounds like some new player event for Warhammer the Old World on August 24th. That's a Sunday, so if you're in the Orange County area, I'm gonna try to make it to that, because I definitely want to play some more for sure. And also, I want to shout out to Old World Legends with Mike, hosting the Escalation League here in Orange County. If you haven't subscribed to Old World Legends, go ahead and do that. You definitely are, because you're watching this small channel, so for sure you're right. So for sure you are. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm really enjoying some Old World, more than I thought I would. And yeah, let's just get back to painting, and we'll get back and catch you guys on the next one.